My name is Moses Ngailegai Bombo Tambason. I'm 62 years of age today. Mm, 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 mm. How did I manage to get here? How did I manage to live to be 62 years of age? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It is not because I behave good. It is not because I am a man. Mm. It is not because I'm anyone special. Mm. It is because of my ancestors. It is because of God for me to live to be 62 years of age. It is because of my family. It is because of my family from Wumbohua, Ome Jojo, Ome Ale Koli from Banita, from Bolahun, from Dodo, from the Kisi people. But for me to live to be 62, I think it is because of you that are listening to me, because of the children. But before then, it's actually because of my mother who carried me in her belly for 9 months, because of my father. Mm, for me to live to be 62 years of age. Mm, I want to give thanks to my ancestors, to God. I want to give thanks to my grandmother, Damawa, for Wumbohua. She died. She died. I was not able to bury her. I don't even know where her grave is. During the wartime in Liberia, she was my grandmother Damawa. She was the one that showed me love when I got to know myself. But let me give her thanks wherever she is. I'm going to look for her. I'm going to give her a decent burial. I want to give thanks to my sisters and my brothers. I want to give thanks to my family, like I said, from Wumbewa, from Bolahum, from Dodo, from the Kisi people. I want to give thanks to my co-workers. Me, sister too. Okay. I want to give thanks to my friends, my school friends, my co-workers, people I have met in my life. I want to give thanks to them. Most importantly, I want to give thanks to my children that God gave them to me. But above all, I want to give thanks to the women that I have encountered, that have come in my life, or that they have come in my life, and for the time that we have spent together. I want to give God thanks, and I want to say thank you. For it is all because of you that today I have lived to be 62. Like I said, it's nothing about me. It's not because of my actions, because I am good, because I'm a man. It's none of those. It is all of you. Mm. My grandmother, just so you know, I am from Dodo Terminal, we know, but I'm also from Wumbehoa. I'm also from Bolahun. I'm also from Bolahuna. I'm also from the Kisi people side because my grandmother from my father's side was from the Kisi area. So when she born my father, they named him Tamba. That's how I'm 100% Bandi. My father is Bandi. My mother is Bandi 100%, but the name I carry is Tamba. Then my mother's side, we are from Wombohoa. Ome Jojo, the chief that was in Wombohoa. I'm his grandson. So the whole Wombohoa town, there where I'm from. Then his brother, Alec Colley, moved to Morovia. He was living in Logi town. I don't know Morovia too well. We call it Bandit town. That's our town from Bandit town. Bandit town, the family is huge. And for God to have put me through those family, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just want to give God thanks and the glory. And then from my father's side, his family people came from like Bolahun, the Seles, the John Sele. So some people wonder, how come but Tampa and Sele is that one is Gisi name and one is Bandi name. I don't want to go into that, but my father, I grew up knowing that John Sele was my father's brother and the people of Dodo. And then my mother, my grandmother from my father's side was from the Kisi area. So, but I really want to give thanks to, for me to live to be 62 years of age, it got nothing to do with my actions. In terms of me to say I behave good, I eat good, I exercise good. It's nothing like that. It is all of you that I have touched. The family from my mother's side, the family from my father's side, my children, and the women that have come in my life or they have come in my life. I want you to imagine all the stages, all the time, all the breaches, the rough, and the smooth road we have passed. If it was not because of you, I cannot stand here. I can't even be alive. I cannot even be alive. It's because of you. So I just want to say thank you for me to live to be 62 years of age. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to apologize to my children if I have done anything wrong. I want to say I'm sorry. I want to apologize to all the women that I have come across in my life since I began to know myself. I'm now a perfect human being. I'm a difficult human being. People say, so it's not about what I think. It's what people say or what I hear people say that I'm difficult to deal with. I'm sorry. I want to say thank you for saving my life. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for forgiving me. And thank you for bearing with me. It's not easy. And I'm sorry. To my sisters and brothers, I want to say thank you for being there for me, For me, Moses Ngailegai Bombo Tambason, to live to reach 62 years of age, it is nothing of my personal actions. It's all because of my ancestors, God, and you that I have interacted with. The family that God sent me through. My life is a tough story to tell. But if I have the chance, I would just want to go through it briefly, if you will bear with me, just so you will know who I am and what I have said. I was born for many Bombo Tamba from Galinga. His brother John Sele from Bolahum and other family people from his mother's side, from the Kisi people. But the story I learned was that every time my mother born a child, the child died. So every time my mother got pregnant, she born, the child died. So this time when she got pregnant with me, my mother family from Wumbehua, decided to rescue me by rescuing my mother. I was in my mother's womb and they took me away from my father, or they took my mother away from my father. So that's how come my father and my mother separated. So they took my mother to Bolahum. I was born in Bolahum. So because of that, my grandmother, Damawa, I don't know what's the burial though. I don't know what the burial. I'm going to find her. And when they walk in, she died. So in Umbewa, when they walk in, they travel in the bush. In my entire life, for me to know there is something they call love. When somebody can love you and care for you, and they want to see your well-being, was my grandmother. She could walk from Umbewa, put her slippers on her head, and tie it, and come to Dodo around 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning when I'm sleeping. She will be sitting down waiting for me to wake up. She said, I came to see my husband. There were at the rabbi Nihewoma for my grandmother. She was my Hewoma, Damawa. But anyway, so when they got pregnant for me, they took me and came to Mbola home. My mother delivered. So my mother couldn't come back to my dad anymore. Because the family, my mother family, the Umewa people, the Jew and the Allen Colley family felt that they were playing wish with my mother. So my mother left and went to, I don't know how she got in contact with one Colley from Honeyahun, and she got married to him. So my father grew bitter. I'm the first boy child for him. My elder sister is coupled Tambason. So my father used to love my mother from what I experienced. But it was difficult, he couldn't come back. So I was a little boy. Then my father he went to Thomas Cody Court, and far from me that he wanted me back. And he fought her. I think he won the case. And his nephew, one Fadamari, the late Fadamari, put me on their shoulder. I think that was 1965. I was a child. I was about 5 years old, but I could remember, I could feel. When tragic thing happened in your life as a child, you can remember, you can recall. You don't remember everything that happened in your life, but certain things you can recall that happened in your life. And so that kind they put me on their shoulder and they brought me to Ngailegai bike. So I didn't really know my mother. It was my stepmother, Banande Bay. Fahu's mother, Fahu, Molo, Sister Kopo, Kumba, Joe, their mother is my mother. If it were not because of her, I would not have lived. I was all on my own. I'm 62 years of age. Unbelievable. Wow. God, you brought me this far. My ancestors, you brought me this far. And so, and so, my father began to grow bitter that while my mother was not in the home, he was angry. And he took the anger on me. I was very young. He told me that I must go and bring my mother back in the home. My mother was in Burma. She had moved to Burma with her man from Honeyahon. John Colley. He used to work at the hospital in the kitchen. So I didn't see my mother until I was like, when I would join the Polar Society in 1979. No, 1969. 1969, we joined the Polar Society. And then we came in 1970. And I think my mother came. And then I saw her. So by 1970, I was, 10 years old? So that was my first time seeing my mother, my biological mother. But my father grew so bitter after that. He said he want my bike. And so he used to misbehave to me, treat me bad. Because my mother was not in the home. I was his first son. I hold no malice for my brother, John Tambason and my sisters. They didn't know what our dad was doing. I don't really hold anything against my dad. He had love for his wife. And I just happened to be the one that had to be the victim because he couldn't get his wife, my mother. And so after he tried one or two times for me to go and beg my mom so my mom can come back to him. And I wasn't able to do that. So my dad regret was, why was it that I was a fresh son for him? He wished Fahu should have been, my younger brother should have been the first for him. But that was not the possibility, and he couldn't teach God's story. So he just began to, like, kind of like, we can call it abuse. Like he would beat me, like he would put all the medicine outside and swear me all day. You know, like anything that my brother Fahu did that was wrong, it would not be his wrong, it would be my wrong. He would put the blame on me. He would bring all the medicine outside, you know, and it's put chicken on it, and put chicken on it, put cola, white cola, red cola, and swear me. How should it be anybody? So, and that was how it was for me. I didn't really grow up knowing anything what they call love. I didn't really grow up knowing anything what they call somebody love you, somebody tell you, say hello, how you doing today, somebody kiss you. I don't know about that. I don't know how that works. Never in my life have I experienced that. It was tough. It was all about abuse. My dad could beat me with the cutlass in his hands. Anything he could find, he would tell my stepmom, the baby who is living now today, that I shouldn't eat. Every wrong thing that my brother did was my wrong. Now he's wrong. He said that only my brother will go to school. He said only my brother will go to school. I will not go to school because I will have to stay to make the farm. So I stayed in the village to make the farm while my younger brother went to school in 1971. We went to the polar bush, as I told you, in 1969. We came in 1970. So by 1971, when my younger brother went to school, and I was home, my father said I should be a farmer. I used to go and brush the farm, drop the bread, do everything. So my stepmother has a sister called Makopo. She was married to Wuhomba to achieve there, Ome Cindy. So she used to come to visit her big sister, Mark Penandi in Dodo now. So when she came, and I really wanted to go to school, I don't even know where I learned that idea that I should really go to school or how education was good. I didn't really know. I didn't know that. How did I know that it's even good to go to school or what was school like? In the village in Garinga, only one house was there. I don't know. I can really explain it. But anyway, that was it. So one day this lady came to the village in Garinga, and I went and I called onto her. I said, please, I want to go to school. I want to go to school. That was the only time I ever defied my father. I never defied my dad. Never, ever. I could go on the farm, brush, cut wood, bring food. My brother come, I cook food, I brush the rice, beat the rice, clean rice, ray oil for him to carry to school. I did all that. But when he didn't want me to go to school, I don't know where that inspiration came from. I don't know. I have no idea. But I said I wanted to go to school. There was no role model. There was no school in the village. Only you and the forest around. So how did I even develop the idea? Say I should go to school. That I wanted to go to school. I don't know whether it was because my brother was going to school. I don't know, but that way it was. So when my couple came to the village for the second time, that was in 1972, I was crying. I cried. I said I wanted to go to school. I cried. I wanted to follow her, and my dad said no. So, and from Galinga, there's a two road. One to go to the Kisi people's side, and one to go to Dodo town. To the Bani people's side to Dodo town. So, and I knew she would have to go to Dodo town way. So when it was time for her to leave, I ran. I went in the bush, but in the village, in the one house. Anyway, but I went ahead. I hid myself in the bush. So after she was leaving, and when she came, I came from the bush. I just came from the bush, and I grabbed onto her, and I held onto her. That was 1972. I said, "Ma, you can't leave me. I want to go to school." I said, "I want to go with you." She was from going to Wuhomba. So she said, "Oh, you came here?" I said, "Yeah, ma. I want to go with you. I can't stay here. I want to go. I can't stay here. I want to go. I want to go with you." She said she wanted to carry me back to Ngaringa. I said, "Ma, please don't do it. I'll cry her. I jump. I hang her. I said, don't do it. But she said, I have to go and tell your dad and your mom that I'm carrying you. I said, please carry me. Please don't let me stay here. So she carried me back to Ngaringa and told my dad that she was carrying me. My dad said, no, she will not carry me. But she said, okay, let me carry my couple. The children for Hawa Sombala, Bendu Bolenje, Jatu. Yes, those are our children. So how come my father unwillingly had to agree anyway? That's how come I follow my stepmother sister and I went to Wohumba in 1972. I was 12 years old. My first time to go to school. And I will long matter cut short. That was I wanted to know how I went to school. It was almost that I fought for how in the Bible when God appeared to the man of God, and the man of God fought God and told God, say, I can't leave you until you bless me. Yeah, it was something that I did. I'm just saying, why am I still alive? Why? It has nothing to do with because Ngailegai Bombo Tambason or because I'm somebody special or because I don't know, nothing. My ancestors, God, my family, and the women in my lives. And the women in my life, sorry for that. No, take the S from there. So that's all I can think about. Because those are people that you interact with. They cook for you, you eat. They press clothes for you, you go out together. All of that. You know? Yeah. So I went to school. So from there, and then my first time to see my mother, my biological mother now, or to even go and spend a night with her was in 1977. Because by then I had learned that my mother was in Burma. She had come twice. She used to bring this khaki short trousers with some kind of sandal we used to wear. We used to call it open window and a four wheel. They used to have our name. So 1977, my friend Cerebara is in Monrovia. And I told them, I really wanted to go see my mother. They said, okay, we'll carry you to see your mother. And how can they carry me to Burma in 1977? And then from there, I saw Burma. My first time to even see Vanjama. My first time to see Vanjama. Actually, to see Vanjama, then Zozo, then Banga, then Burma, and then Monrovia, Kakata. It was my first time seeing those places. My first time seeing those places. So then from there, I was only there for vacation. Then I went back to Kola home. So it was then 1981 that I decided to go back to Burma and I finally to go and stay with my mother. 1980, after I was promoted to the 10th grade. But because I was so smart, they sent me to the 11th grade. You know, when you're hungry for success, you don't see no difficulties. So I want to call this story very short. So the hacker, I went to Burma. I finished high school. I went to KRTTI, begin to the scene, how work. I started in my village. I don't know how when I'm in trouble, how I can ask somebody for help. I have no one to look up to, no uncle, nobody, no sister, no brother. When I'm in trouble, it's all on me. So that's how come I grew to be so strong. So I don't see why anything that they say this can happen, this can be done. Some people, you know, like they can call somebody help me. I don't know about that. I just know that whatever I want in life, I go for it. I don't see how things cannot be done. I only see how things can be done because when I'm onto it, I'm onto it with my whole heart, with my whole life. I will either die, but I will do it. So I'm not going to fail to do it. Because from my childhood time, you know, my father was not treating me right. So I was all in that valley by myself. I would make fun for him. I would go make fun for myself, make my own garden, okra, pepper, peanuts, corn. I did all that by myself. So I grew to be very, very strong. So the strength that I learned from my village stay with me today. But all the people that I have encountered in my life, they should have harmed me. They should have killed me. So just imagine if I was in my mother's womb, if I was in my mother's womb and my grandmother Damawa and the family for Umbewa fought hard to save my life. So this is the reason why forgive me, but this is the reason why I say that I don't go to church for somebody to say, you know, like you have enemy, you know, people plotting against you. I feel I don't have no enemy. Because everybody have loved me, even in my mother's womb. If they didn't love me, they would not have rescued me from my father's village. Maybe I would have been one of the dead. But while I was still in my mother's womb, people fought to save my life. They took me to Wombehua and I think to Mbola, and then I was born. So just imagine when a child is born and to live up to today. So how now somebody going to tell me, say you have enemy and you want me to listen to you? If I go to your church, don't tell me anything about enemy. I don't have no enemy. I owe everybody. Everybody played part in my life. I ate food from people. Every house in Dodo was my house. Every house in Dodo was my house. Everyone I have met in my life have played a major role. I just want to say thank you. For me to be 62 years of age, I don't know how come, but it is because of you. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to my children. Thank you to my nieces and nephews. Thank you to my brother children, my sister children. And all of you have come to make my life a successful one, a fulfilled one. Today I feel blessed. I have many children. I want to say thank you and I love you. I'm 62 years of age. My life is not going to be the same. I'm not going to be working hard anymore like before. I'm gonna have to take some time off, go home, go look if I can find my grandmother's wherever she was buried, the love of my life, who showed me love, who cooked for me. When I used to go to Umbehua, the woman would go from house to house, say, my husband come, my husband come, my husband come. She used to be so excited just to let the town people know that her daughter's son was in town. Yeah. I used to come from school in Kowon and go on the farm and scratch a peanut farm or snow farm before I go to Dodo. The hard labor continued in me, and still today I'm in America, working hard. I'm 62 years old now. If I didn't do good for you, I'm sorry. I may likely not be able to do that good for you. I'm not going to work there before anymore. I'm going to take some time off and relax and rest. Whenever God gets ready,